Hey Lorenzo, we're just outside of Trade, one of at least 5 businesses here in D.C. implementing their own policy, which is to ask guests to prove that they've been vaccinated.
Take it.
Going back to an indoor mask restriction in D.C. may seem like a shakeup. But for restaurants like Mexico,
I think it's great that D.C. is doing this as more of a preemptive measure instead of waiting until things get really, really bad again.
management is all on board.
I think it might take a little while for people to remember, but I think they'll snap back into it pretty quickly.
We're being overly woke. I'm like, no, we're being overly safe.
David Peruza owns the bar's Pitchers and a League of Her Own in Adams Morgan. He agrees with the masks to keep customers and staff safe, but to him, the mandate is not enough.
I feel like we need to start taking things away to show people how serious this is and not let them into establishments, not let them go shopping unless they get vaccinated.
That's why starting this weekend, he's requiring customers to show a proof of vaccination before they enter. Bars such as Trade and Number 9 posted to social media to announce the same approach. These 2 restaurants in Navy Yard are requiring proof as well, but not until September.
I have mixed feelings on that. I would honestly like to believe that people are going to be honest about their vaccination status and wouldn't want to put people at risk.
It's still too early to see if business will be impacted, but it's a risk Peruza says he's willing to take.
I think people just really need to step up and get vaccinated. If I have to turn people away, I have to turn people away.
And the owner says, much like Number 9 and Trade here, the forms that are acceptable as far as the proof would include the actual physical copy of that vaccination card, a picture of that card, or some sort of digital copy. We're live in Northwest. I'm Matthew Torres, WUSA 9.
All right, Matthew, thank you. And you know, this comes as new data from the CDC shows the Delta variant of the coronavirus is much more contagious than previously thought. An internal CDC document released publicly this afternoon says the Delta variant may spread as quickly as chickenpox. Yeah, CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky referenced the report during an interview this week on CBS This Morning.
New data that we've seen just in the last several days, but corroborated several times, is that if you are vaccinated and you are one of those rare breakthrough infections, you actually have the capacity to pass it to somebody else.
Yeah, the document states the CDC must publicly acknowledge the war has changed. It argues the agency has struggled to persuade the public to embrace vaccination and preventative measures such as mask wearing. The new data prompted the CDC to revise its mask guidelines this week, saying even vaccinated people should wear masks indoors in areas where COVID rates are high. Now, as we mentioned at the top of the newscast, DC's indoor mask mandate goes into effect tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. Mayor Muriel Bowser making the announcement yesterday after health officials say there's been an increase in COVID-19 infections in the district. Health leaders say the new infections are among the young and those who are not vaccinated. The D.C. Health Department says daily cases have increased 5-fold over the month of July. Now, positive cases are being linked to travel, dining out, and social activities. But local tourism officials want to emphasize D.C. is still open for business.
Activity is still happening and things are still open. And, I think, this wearing a mask isn't something new for people. We were used to it, for the past 18 to 20 months that we've been doing this. And, we're going to keep continuing to move forward and keep the momentum moving.
Well, the Smithsonian's Air and Space Museum on the National Mall is back in business. The museum reopened today. Visitors are welcome from 10 in the morning until 5:30 in the evening, Thursday through Monday. And like everything else indoors in D.C., face coverings and social distancing are required whether you're vaccinated or not. And also, get this, the Anthem is back. The D.C. music venue is finally reopening tonight and kicking things off with a special one-night-only performance from who else? Dave Chappelle. By the way, masks will be required there.
It is simple to do. It's been done in other places in other towns. And when people eat and drink, they'll negotiate the mask there, but then it'll go right back on, I'm sure.
Yeah, this is where we are now. This is the first time the Anthem is reopening since the pandemic began in March of 2020. And we've got you covered with all the latest mask updates. Just text the word mask to that number, 202-895-5599, and we'll text you back with 3 links: updated CDC guidance, the latest CDC case map, and school mask policies across our area.